All right, hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's your bud Steve Sleepy, and today is a very special day for me. 40 plus years culminating into this day, and I'm very stoked. So what might you ask is so special? Well, today is a new bike day, and not just any new bike, a bike that I've wanted for my entire life. Well, what bike have you wanted for the last 40 years, Steve? Is it a vintage bike? No, it's not a vintage bike. It is a track bike. That's right, I've wanted forever to have a track bike just for going to the track. I'm the kind of personality where if I have a nice motorcycle, I'll never push myself. I'll never really try anything on a racetrack on track days because I like the bikes too much. I've done track days in the past. I had a blast. It was really a lot of fun, but the whole time I was worried about the bike. So I knew in the back of my head that if I bought a track-specific bike that's already been crashed, it's already been on the track a bunch of times, I won't have a problem doing the same thing to it. So what you see behind me is a track bike. Yeah, a little assembly might be required. I'm kidding. This was a second bike that they forgot to tell me came with the first bike. So when I showed up with my 5x7 trailer behind my little Hyundai Accent, because my truck is needing service right now, I had no idea I'd have to fit a second motorcycle into this whole thing. So if you could imagine a frame strapped very strangely to a trailer, forks sticking out of windows, tires everywhere, boxes of parts all over the place. I drove home like this. Not complaining, it's a lot of fun stuff. But this is all secondary stuff. So let's take a look at what bike I got, what I paid for it, what I plan to do with it. Let's get into it. All right, so this is actually our track bike. It was crazy. I showed up thinking I'm picking this up, and then the guy hands me a whole nother bike. Not complaining, it's great to have spare parts, but this guy is pretty well set up. So obviously it's not a new bike, it's a 2006 ZX6R. It lived a while on the street, and now it's living as a track bike. This is a newer engine, so this engine only has 6,500 miles on it. And the reason I picked it up is I'm only into this whole situation for $5,000. So I was looking, and finally found a deal that I thought was pretty good, and I went for it. Now, what makes this a really good deal for me is it has a lot of the things I would have needed to buy to make my bike a dedicated track bike. So it has wider and different angle set clip-ons. It has woodcraft cases on the engine, so if you do have a low side or something like that, you're not just going to blow the engine out. They are much stronger, and they have these like runners and stuff, so like one of the first things you want to do to a track bike. It's got Vortex rear sets, so I can completely adjust my rear sets and make them comfortable for myself when I get on the track. Now for me, I'm most likely going to have them at the bottom and as far back as they can go because of my knees, but it's great that you have that flexibility. It has upgraded front suspension. It's been tuned by Mom, so it has internal fork cartridges for a 200-pound rider. It has a Penske rear shock with the piggyback that's completely adjustable for a 200-pound rider. It has upgraded front calipers and rear caliper. That's a notorious thing on the 636s. Is they're great track bikes, but their brakes fade, so they've already taken care of that. I got 2 sets of wheels. I can run Ren tires and then regular slicks on another one. It's got a lap timer. It's got a GPR steering dampener. It's got all the things that I want to do. Now granted, it needs a little TLC, but I also like to take bikes apart, make sure they're cool, and put them back together. So I'll be videoing all that. I'm going to go over everything. Now, you might be noticing that it's a Kawasaki and it's red. That bothered me too. In fact, I can't live with it. Fortunately, the bike came with a whole set of brand new Hot Bodies racing fairings. So if you didn't know this, I also paint. I've painted about 15 to 20 different motorcycles and helmets, all the way up to 10 color helmets. But for a race bike, you don't want to really go all ham with automotive paint. So we're going to rattle can it in a 3-color Kawasaki paint job and then 2K clear it, and it's going to come out great. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So this is going to be part of a whole new segment on this channel called Let's Go Racing. So do me a favor, if this interests you and you want to follow along with this series, like and subscribe. But just know, we also do pretty much all content 2 wheels. Everything from Harleys to adventure bikes, sport bikes, touring, and now racing, or at least track days. Eventually, my buddy Paul that does the sidecar racing said that this bike would qualify for racing ARRMA. So if track days go well and I start to feel confident, ARRMA might be something I'm looking into next year. But again, you guys are all welcome to come along with me. And this is definitely going to prove that if it works, it ain't dumb. All right, we'll see you on the next one.